Chess is not a pastime. It never was. If someone taught you that, they sold you comfort. And comfort is where sharp minds go to die. Chess is a simulation of war, a metaphor for power. Each piece represents a layer of society. Each move is a choice, with a consequence. And when you play it for real, you're not just moving pieces. You're learning to control what most people fear, your own thinking. Chess was born in 6th century India, under the name Chaturanga, a representation of the 4 military divisions: infantry, cavalry, elephants, and chariots. It was designed as a training tool for military leadership. Then it spread to Persia, the Arab world, and finally to Europe, where it evolved into what we now know as modern chess. What does that tell you? That chess was always about strategy, control, hierarchy, and survival. That's why, for centuries, it was played by kings, generals, leaders, and thinkers. And here's the part no one tells you. When a woman learns chess, she starts thinking like the people in power. And historically, that's always made people uncomfortable. Because chess doesn't just teach you how to play, it teaches you how to wait for the right moment, read intentions, anticipate attacks, protect what matters, and sacrifice what must go to win something greater. These are skills very few people have, because they require mental discipline. They force you to think beyond emotion, and that's rare, especially in a world that trains women to feel first and think later. Chess rewires that, not by killing emotion, but by training your mind to organize thoughts before action. And here's another truth no one talks about. In chess, the most powerful piece isn't the king, it's the queen. She moves across the entire board. The king? He barely moves unless someone clears the way. That's not just design, that's symbolism, and it's brutal. You've been told to protect the king, but chess teaches you that the queen runs the game. So let me ask you something. Why aren't more women playing? Simple answer. Because the system was never built for women to become strategists. Strategic women are harder to manipulate, harder to distract with compliments, gifts, or emotional bait. They're more autonomous, more selective, and above all, more aware of their choices. And the world has always feared women who are fully aware. If you want to learn how to position yourself better in life, how to make colder, smarter decisions, and stop falling for emotional traps, you need chess more than you think. Not for status, not as a hobby, but because it develops the one thing no one can take from you, your ability to think under pressure. And in the next chapters, you'll see exactly how chess rewires your brain, reshapes your instincts, and builds a woman who doesn't just play the game, she redefines it. The strategist's brain. What chess does to a woman's mind, let's cut the fluff. Chess physically changes your brain. That's not a metaphor. It's neurological fact. Studies have proven that regular chess players develop increased activity in the prefrontal cortex, the region responsible for decision-making, planning, impulse control, and long-term strategy. You know, the exact areas that manipulators and emotional abusers hope you never develop. In 2016, a large-scale cognitive study revealed that chess players score significantly higher in fluid reasoning, verbal comprehension, short-term memory, mental processing speed. This is not about talent. This is training. And when a woman trains these areas consistently, something dangerous happens. She starts seeing through everything. Chess forces your brain to do what school rarely teaches. Think several moves ahead. Imagine what the opponent is thinking. Weigh risks under pressure. Delay gratification for a bigger gain. And now here's where it gets personal. A woman who plays chess becomes less reactive. She doesn't explode over nonsense. She doesn't get lost in emotion during decision-making. She observes. She analyzes. And when she moves, it's decisive. This doesn't just make you smarter, it makes you mentally stronger. You stop getting trapped in the same emotional loops. You stop repeating old mistakes. You stop blaming fate and start choosing moves that serve your long game. And yes, this kind of mental power is uncomfortable for people who benefited from your confusion. You'll notice something strange when you start thinking like a strategist. People around you will act like you've changed. You'll hear, "You're colder now. You overthink too much. You're so serious these days." But they don't realize the truth. You're not colder. You're clearer. You're not overthinking. You're calculating. You're not serious. You're in control, and that makes you a threat to anyone who profited from your past confusion. Let them be uncomfortable. You're not here to please. You're here to win. In life, in relationships, in your mission. And chess trains your brain to do exactly that. The best part? You don't need natural talent. You don't need a coach or a big budget. You just need consistency. You play. You lose. You learn. And with each game, your brain rewires itself to think in levels, not impulses. And in a world that rewards women who can't think straight, be the one who sees through everything. In the next chapter, we're going into the data, the real-world experiments that prove what chess does to intelligence, memory, and even emotional resilience. Brace yourself. The numbers don't lie. Data that can't be ignored. How chess boosts IQ, memory, and focus. Let's talk facts. No motivation, no empty hype. Just cold, verified data. Venezuela, 1980s. Over 4,000 children were given chess, training for just 4 months. After the program, researchers found a consistent and measurable increase in their IQ scores. Not assumed, not estimated, measured. Australia, 2003. The Flinders University confirmed the same results. Children who played chess outperformed their peers in logic, verbal reasoning, and processing speed. China, 2012. A study compared experienced chess players to beginners. Result? The experienced group had better memory retention and faster learning curves across unrelated subjects. Their brains weren't just sharper in chess, they were sharper in life. United States and Russia. Multiple studies confirm chess players, regardless of gender, develop superior concentration and focus. They learn how to sit with discomfort, push through distractions, and finish what they start. This is critical in today's world, where most people can't focus for more than 10 seconds without grabbing their phone. Chess trains the opposite. It forces you to stay engaged with complex problems. It trains delayed gratification, which is one of the strongest predictors of long-term success. And for women, this is massive. Because modern life bombards you with distractions, manipulation, emotional noise, and fake urgency. Learning to focus your mind under pressure isn't luxury, it's survival. Now let's be clear, chess will not make you a genius overnight. But it will rewire your mental discipline in ways school, therapy, and even self-help books often fail to do. You'll start noticing small changes. You remember more details. You think before reacting. You spot patterns others miss. You pause before jumping to conclusions. You start thinking in if-then sequences, like a strategist. And here's the beautiful part. You begin applying these skills outside the board. In arguments, relationships, money, work. You no longer play checkers in a chess world. You play to win. Or you don't play at all. In the next chapter, we'll talk about something rarely discussed. How chess builds emotional strength through loss, and why losing in this game trains you to never break in real life. Resilience through defeat. Why losing in chess makes you stronger in life, you will lose. Let's make that clear from the start. In chess, you will lose, often, badly, and sometimes in ways that make you question your own intelligence. And that's the entire point. Chess trains something society rarely teaches: how to face defeat without breaking. It teaches you that losing doesn't mean you're weak. It means you miscalculated. And if you're honest enough to analyze your own game, you'll never lose the same way twice. That's growth. Not the kind that makes noise. The kind that makes you unshakable. In life, people avoid discomfort. They quit relationships when it gets hard. They change jobs when challenged. They lie to themselves to avoid confronting their own patterns. Chess doesn't let you lie. The board is brutal. Every mistake is visible. There are no lucky breaks. No, maybe it wasn't my fault. You either saw it or you didn't. You either adapted or got crushed. And here's what makes that powerful. Losing in chess trains you to separate failure from identity. You didn't lose because you're dumb. You lost because you didn't read the situation correctly. Now you know better. Now you adjust. That process, repeated over and over, creates mental armor. You stop fearing failure because you've survived it enough to understand what it really is: information. And in a world where women are often punished for being wrong or shamed for not being perfect, chess becomes a quiet rebellion. It teaches you that making a mistake isn't the end. It's a step, a message, a redirection. And most importantly, it's recoverable. Women who play chess long enough develop a subtle power. They don't panic. They don't freeze when things go wrong. They don't crumble under pressure. They think. They reframe. They rebuild, mid-battle if needed. And the people around them? They notice. Because nothing is more intimidating than a woman who can take a hit, keep her head clear, and come back smarter. Chess doesn't teach you to avoid defeat. It teaches you to use it, to analyze it, to grow from it, to wear it like armor instead of shame. And once you understand that, there is no situation in life that can truly defeat you. In the next chapter, we'll expose a secret few will admit: how chess makes you less predictable, and why that makes emotional manipulation almost impossible. The power of being unpredictable. How chess protects you from emotional manipulation. Let's be brutally honest. Most emotional manipulation thrives on one thing: predictability. If someone knows how you react, if they know what makes you anxious, if they can trigger guilt, rush you into decisions, or use your emotions as a weapon, then they don't need strength. They only need a pattern. Chess destroys that. Why? Because chess trains you to think before reacting. It builds a habit of analysis. You stop making emotional decisions. You stop explaining yourself to people who are fishing for leverage. You become unpredictable. And that makes manipulation almost impossible. The manipulator loses power the moment you stop reacting on cue. Here's what you need to understand. Most emotional traps are built like checkmates. Not sudden, but slow. One small move at a time. A compliment. A guilt trip. A you're overthinking it. Until you're cornered, and it feels like there's no way out. Chess trains you to see it coming. You start noticing patterns, not just on the board, but in people. You pick up on power plays. You see that a nice gesture might be bait. You read subtext. You spot the trap, while others are still admiring the smile. And what happens when you become harder to read? People either respect you more, or walk away because they can't control you. Either way, you win. Being unpredictable isn't about being cold. It's about being unreadable to those who want to use your emotions against you. And that's power. Women are often trained to be nice, agreeable, and open. But here's the truth. Kindness without boundaries is a magnet for manipulation. Intelligence without strategy is a wasted gift. And emotion without discipline is a loaded weapon, pointed at yourself. Chess teaches you discipline. It builds boundaries in your thinking. It forces you to pause and consider, what's really going on here? The ability to ask that. One question, before speaking, before reacting, is enough to save you from relationships, jobs, and situations that could have wrecked your life. And once you learn how to become unreadable, you become unshakable. In the next chapter, we'll explore one of the most misunderstood parts of chess, why the queen is the most powerful piece on the board, and what that truly means for how you see yourself. The queen's power, what the most dangerous piece in chess really represents. She's the most powerful piece on the board, not by accident, by design. The queen in chess isn't just a strong piece. She is the most dangerous force in the game. She moves across the board, in any direction, as far as needed, without permission, without apology. No other piece even comes close. And yet, most women are still taught to play like pawns. They're told to stay in line. Take one step at a time. Don't threaten. Don't stand out. Protect the king. Stay useful. Stay quiet. But here's the historical truth most people never hear. The queen didn't always have that power. In early versions of chess, the queen was weak, barely able to move. It wasn't until the 15th century, during a time of rising female influence in Europe, that her power expanded. Historians believe it was inspired by real queens rising in politics and warfare, powerful, strategic, and feared. Chess adapted. The queen became the centerpiece of the game. Now read that again. Reality changed, and the game evolved. The moment women became powerful in real life, the board had to reflect it. That's not just symbolic. That's prophetic. And if you're still playing like a pawn in your own life, still waiting for permission, still minimizing your voice, still acting like someone else's game matters more than yours, you're not just playing the wrong game. You're ignoring the truth. You were built to be the queen. The queen doesn't ask, she acts, she protects, she leads, she intimidates without speaking. She's the only piece that can truly turn the tide of a battle alone. And that's exactly why many people, and systems, prefer you never discover your real moves. Because when a woman learns how to think like a queen, she stops reacting. She starts predicting. She stops surviving. She starts dominating. She stops living inside someone else's rules and builds her own damn kingdom. Let this sink in. The king is protected. The queen defends, attacks, and controls the entire board. This is the kind of power women were never meant to forget, but were taught to suppress. Chess reminds you, not just that you're strong, but that you're necessary to win. In the next chapter, we'll dig deeper into that winning mindset. Not just how to move like a queen, but how to think, lead, and live like one in a world that constantly tries to put you back in a pawn's position. Think like a queen. Strategic thinking. For real-life battles, chess isn't about memorizing moves. It's about developing mental architecture. It rewires how you analyze situations, people, pressure, risk, everything. Strategic thinking isn't a personality trait. It's a trained discipline. And it's the exact discipline that women are often discouraged from developing. Because a strategic woman is a dangerous woman. She doesn't just react, she calculates. She doesn't need validation. She sees through agendas. She doesn't crumble under pressure. She sharpens. Let's break this down with real-life examples. In relationships, a woman who thinks like a queen doesn't ignore red flags. She documents patterns. She doesn't argue impulsively. She waits, observes, then delivers truth with precision. She knows the difference between love and leverage. In business, she doesn't chase attention. She positions herself. She builds alliances, not attachments. She moves with long-term outcomes. In mind, not instant gratification. She knows that timing beats intensity. In emotional situations, she doesn't explode. She pauses. She checks the board. And if the move is reckless, she doesn't make it. Because queens don't play every battle. They choose the ones that decide the war. And here's the part no one teaches. Strategic thinking is not cold. It's clarity. It's emotional control. It's refusing to let a temporary feeling ruin a permanent result. The world will pressure you to just go with your heart. But hearts without strategy get manipulated, drained, and broken. A woman who combines heart and mind, love and logic, empathy and intelligence. That woman wins without chasing, leads without forcing, and walks away without breaking. Chess doesn't teach you to become robotic. It teaches you to think above the game, to read silence, to see patterns, to play offense and defense at once, to hold power quietly, and most of all, to stop sacrificing your peace for positions that don't serve your mission. Strategic thinking is not something you're born with. It's something you practice. Every time you pause before reacting. Every time you consider the long-term impact before the short-term impulse. Every time you value peace over noise and outcomes over emotions. That's what queens do. They don't just play the game. They control the tempo of the entire board. In the next chapter, we'll lay out practical steps. How to actually start playing chess today, build the mindset, and turn it into a skill you'll carry into every part of your life. Start playing like a queen. How to build a chess mindset and apply it to real life. This isn't about becoming a grandmaster. It's about building a mind that doesn't break under pressure. So let's get practical. If you've never played chess before, or you haven't touched it in years, here's how to start from zero and turn it into a skill that transforms how you think. Step 1. Start playing. Immediately. No theory. No delay. Go to a free chess platform like chess.com, lichess.org, or download a free chess app on your phone, iOS or Android. Create an account. Start playing. You will lose. That's the point. Don't worry about winning. Worry about understanding. Each loss trains your brain to see differently. Step 2. Learn the basic tactics. Search for YouTube videos or beginner guides on forks, pins, skewers, opening principles. How to checkmate with a queen and king. You don't need to memorize names. You need to understand how the pieces work together. Just 15 minutes a day is enough to start building chess muscle. Step 3. Watch others. Watch real people or AI play. Observe how they pause, think, and sacrifice pieces for long-term gain. Recommended. Gotham Chess on YouTube. Great for beginners. Watching top-level games with commentary. This trains your brain to analyze like a strategist, not just a player. Step 4. Apply chess thinking in life. Now, here's where it becomes powerful. Next time you feel emotional, pause. Visualize the chessboard. Ask yourself, if this were a game, what would be the smart move? Not the loud one. Practice this in conversations, arguments, career decisions, finances, relationships. The more you think like a strategist, the more control you take back. Step 5. Make it a habit, not a phase. You don't need to play hours a day. You just need consistency. 1 game per day, 1 video lesson per week, 1 reflection per mistake. Over time, you won't just become a better chess player. You'll become a quieter, clearer, more dangerous thinker. Final reminder. Chess is not about the board. It's about the mind you build behind it. The world is full of people playing loud, fast, and emotional. Don't join them. Play with depth. Play with silence. Play with purpose. And most of all, play like a queen. In the final chapter, we'll close everything with a hard truth and a simple mission. Why every woman who masters her thinking becomes unstoppable, and what your next move should be. Your next move. Why a woman who masters her mind becomes unstoppable. This isn't just about chess anymore. It's about something bigger. Something no school, no relationship, No job will ever teach you directly. The woman who learns to master. Her own mind becomes immune to control. She stops living on autopilot. She stops reacting to pressure. She stops outsourcing her decisions to emotion, guilt, or fear. She becomes self-led. And in a world designed to reward obedience, distraction, and emotional chaos, that kind of woman is dangerous because you can't buy her. You can't manipulate her. And you sure as hell can't stop her. That's what chess gives you. Not trophies, but mental sovereignty. The ability to think clearly when everyone else is panicking. The power to slow the world down when it tries to rush you. The vision to see 10 steps ahead, while others are still stuck on the last insult they received. So now the question isn't whether chess is for you. The real question is, are you finally ready to stop playing small in your own life? Are you ready to stop reacting like a pawn? Waiting for someone to move first? Sacrificing your peace just to fit in? Because you've seen what a queen can do. You've felt what it means to hold your power with discipline. You've learned how to think, how to choose, and how to walk away without breaking. So what now? You make your next move. Download the app. Play the first game. Lose, learn, repeat. Sharpen your thinking. Start training the brain that the world hoped you'd never fully activate, and never again forget. You were not born to play the background. You were born to control the board. This is your game now. Think like a queen. Move like a threat. And build a life no one can corner. Checkmate.